Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sagar.Utekar and this is solution video for our day 3 challenge from the season 1. It's been some time we finished our season 1 challenges, 50 amazing challenges, and now we are creating solution videos for those learners who needed some help and the guidance and for those who are interested to solve the season 1 challenges. Season 1 was epic and everyone witnessed it. So this is the solution video for the day 3 challenge. And before going ahead, I want to make one announcement that this is free content and this is something which is unique. We spend a lot of hours to create the challenges which are industry grade and production grade challenges. So since this is free and the community initiative, or for some other reason, I'm seeing very less response for the solution videos and the content we are creating. I would like to request all of you to support this kind of community initiative so we will also get more motivation to create very good videos and content for our community. So that is the one request I put in in the earlier videos as well, that you can share this news, share these initiatives, share these challenges with your friends and other learners so everyone will get help to get their next job and clear the interviews. Since this is very unique, this is not easily available for everyone on the internet. These kind of challenges and the initiative, this needs to be shared with wider audience. And that is the list I'm expecting from my community members to help to share these initiatives with larger audience. Okay, moving ahead, what we are going to discuss today is very important topic, nothing but Nginx. I hope you got chance to connect Google group and the Discord server and have seen what is the day 3 challenge. This day 3 challenge I'll walk you through the exact statements, but in short words, the challenge was related to setting up Nginx proxy to access Grafana and Jenkins backend servers. Now, many of you are maybe new for Nginx or the servers and the clients. Don't worry, that is why we are creating this video. We'll start from very basic, how the request flows, what are clients, what are servers, what is proxy, what is forward proxy, what is reverse proxy, what are load balancers, when to use proxies and the load balancer or either or. What are the advantage and the disadvantage. Not only that, theory is important from the interview point of view, and having the clear understanding of all these basic concepts is very much important. We are not going to stop there. We are going to install Nginx proxy on EC2 instance. We are going to install Grafana and Jenkins on EC2 instance. We'll configure the Nginx proxy to access Grafana and Jenkins backend servers, and as well as we'll cover some important advanced topics. Okay, and at the end, in between, we'll also discuss what are important interview questions. Interesting. So I'll request again to watch this video till the end so you will get a good clear understanding of Nginx proxy, reverse proxies, load balancers, how to configure it, how to debug the issues, and lot many interesting things. So please make sure you watch this video till the end. As I always suggest, don't try to do hands-on side by side. Understand the theory, understand the practical what I'm trying to do, and once you have the clear understanding of what is needed to solve the challenge, then you can try to solve the challenge on your own. But don't make that mistake of solving the challenge side by side. Okay, that is one tip I'll always give you, because we don't want to follow the video and learn from it exact step by step. We will watch the video, We'll understand the concepts so that if something similar or different question or the challenge comes as a DevOps SRE engineer in our job or the company, we'll be able to solve that using whatever we learned from this video. That is very much important, correct? Okay. So, without ado, let's get started. I'm super excited, and I know I'm going to get very good support on these kind of videos and the initiatives from my community. Okay, I'll share the challenge question. What was the challenge question? And from there we'll start. So this particular challenge we shared on the day three. The challenge name was multi-service reverse proxy with Nginx. Very interesting question. As I explained, Nginx is one of the important tool or server which gets used very widely in DevOps SRE day-to-day job. Okay, let's talk about the requirements we have for the challenge. We are going to set up Grafana and Jenkins on EC2 instance. That is first requirement. And then we are going to use the Nginx reverse proxy. So we will install Nginx and set up reverse proxy for Grafana and Jenkins. We'll also try to secure our Grafana and Jenkins using self-signed SSL certificates. So instead of using HTTP, we'll use HTTPs. Perfect. Those are the basic requirements. If time permits, then we'll also check out the advanced options as well. And that is all what is needed. I have also included some bonus tasks. I'll share how to solve this bonus task, but I'm expecting you to follow the same thing and also try to solve the bonus task once the main challenge is completed. So bonus task is to restrict access to Jenkins by particular IP, which means use Nginx, allow and deny directives to restrict access to Jenkins from specific IP range. Then you need to only allow access from designated IP range or deny others. So that is something which is very important. We don't want to give the access to our Jenkins backend server, and using this technique, we will be able to restrict access to particular IP ranges. The second bonus task is to implement the rate limiting in Nginx. So that is what we are expecting. The third is configure the subdomains grafana.local or nginx.local instead of path-based routing. The last bonus step is automate these entire thing using shell scripting. So write a shell script to automate the entire process to install and configure Grafana and Jenkins for installing Nginx, setting up Nginx reverse proxy, creating and installing SSL certificates, and basic authentication. That is all needed. Once you complete the challenge, then you need to submit your solution on the GitHub repository. So if you remember, we cloned the GitHub repository. This is the GitHub repository which we have, or you can create your own GitHub repository and try to maintain the solutions for all these season 1 challenges and the season 2 challenges. So you need to upload the Nginx configuration, the Grafana Jenkins setup steps you followed, and also upload the screenshot. So that will give me the clarity whether you actually perform those exercises and able to complete the challenge or not. The main thing is the documentation, include the readme.md explaining your approach. You you might have some different approach to solve the similar problem. Including that, you also need to mention the challenges which you faced during this while you solve the challenge and the key learning. very important. The third step is optional, but you can share your progress weekly or daily or bi-daily by posting that on LinkedIn or any social media and tag me with using my profile, the LinkedIn profile, and also use this hashtag. So this will give me um, the visibility whether you have solved the challenge correctly or not. I'll review your answers and the solutions and then give you feedback. Okay. If you notice here, I have included one very important thing, which is chal document the challenges faced during while solving the challenge. Okay. So that is very important when you are going for the interview. That time they will ask you what are the challenges you have faced in your day-to-day job or research engineer life. And that is what we are trying to tackle using these season one challenges and by following the proper path to prepare for the interviews. So very important, whatever the guidelines I'm setting for the season one and the season two, please make sure you follow those line by line. Okay. Some of you also asked whether it is important to share the progress over the LinkedIn or social media or not. Let me clear, this is not for me, this is for my learners because sharing the progress over social media like the professional platform LinkedIn gives you more visibility and will help you to get a job. So recruiters keep on scanning good profiles who are actively learning, who are learning something new, and sharing your progress over LinkedIn will help you to get more interview calls. So that is the um, the importance of sharing your story. It is okay if you don't want to tag me or the community, that is fine, but make sure you are doing it for your own good and sharing your progress. Okay, just 1 second. Let me take a sip of water. I hope my screen is visible, and this is what we are going to design today. So, in short, we are going to have a Nginx configured, a Nginx proxy, and using Nginx proxy, we are going to access Grafana, which is the visualization tool, open source visualization. And using same Nginx proxy, we will try to use or access our Jenkins server. Jenkins is continuous integration tool or open source platform which we can set up on EC2. So this we are going to set everything of these on our EC2 instance. If you want, you can perform this exercise on multiple EC2 instances, but no, we want to perform this exercise and this can be done on the single EC2 instance. But if you wish, you can use multiple EC2 instance and configure the Nginx proxy, Grafana, and Jenkins. I hope that is clear what is we are going to do today in the practical. Okay, I'll explain the theory part and um, then we will move forward. the actual practical. Okay, so let me put this somewhere here. First, let's try to understand how actual request flow. Um, okay, so I'm the user, and okay, let me share the screen and let's try to design it here. So I am a user and I want to access google.com. So we'll not go deep dive into DNS part, but this is just one simple example I want to take before explaining Nginx proxy servers. Perfect. So I'm a user, I'm using the mobile phone or um, accessing that using my laptop, and I have written on my browser that I want to access google.com by typing, HTTPS www.google.com. So that is what we will say the client, the one who is requesting, and the someone or the entity who is serving the request is the server. Okay. So in this case, when we are requesting to access google.com from our browser is client. Okay. Remember, user is not a client. User is using browser as a client to access google.com server or Google server that is sitting somewhere remotely. We don't know that. When we send a request to access google.com from the browser, request flows through the internet and it sends google.com's server sends us some response. So that is what the basic client and server architecture is. There are a lot of things happen before establishing the connection. I'll create a separate video on that. And for now, this is what I just want to explain for the client and server. Okay. But then what is a proxy exactly? If the name, as the name suggests, proxy is someone who is, say, intermediary. Proxy is someone who is sitting intermediate between the client machine and the internet or the server, right? So proxy is sitting somewhere here. This is a proxy which is going to intercept your request and act as a proxy. You can imagine these like uh, some people cheat in the exam, right? So, or not cheating, let's not talk about the cheating. So, um, you might remember that when we have the 10th exam board or the 12th exam board, and someone is not able to write their paper, exam paper, so they get proxy to write on their behalf. So we can consider that example. The student who might have some disability and may not be able to write during the 10th exam board, and are they want to give the exam but they can't write it. So what government has done is that government provide them or schools or the board provides them the proxy, and on the behalf of this student they will write the exam paper. So that is proxy. Another exam could be the attendance. This is something which many of you will be able to correlate. when we were in college. Many of you will be in college this time. So we used to give the proxy for our friends, right? So our friend is not there in the school, they are not available in the college, but whenever teacher asks, okay, let me scroll this again. Yeah, okay, okay. So S- Sagar is Sagar and Mayur are friends. They go to the college, okay, but for some reason Mayur is not able to attend the college today. So when teacher start taking the attendance, what Sagar will do as a good friend, he will give the attendance of both Sagar and Mayur, but as a proxy. So that is a proxy acting or being someone intermediate between the client and the server. So Sagar is Sagar and Mayur here are the client, teacher is server, and here Sagar is giving a proxy attendance for Mayur. So that is also a proxy. So we have seen multiple examples now for the proxy. I hope that is clear with some funny examples. And let's try. Okay. Okay. Uh, that is, I hope that is clear. What is client, what is server, and then what is proxy so far. Let's try to understand the forward proxy. So far, we have covered the client, basic client terminology, the server, and proxy. So to summarize it again, the client is someone who is requesting. Server is the one who is providing the response or serving the request. Proxy is someone who is sitting or acting as an intermediary between the client and the internet or the server. Now, there are two major categories for the proxy. One is forward proxy and reverse proxy. Very important question. What is proxy? What is forward proxy and reverse proxy? Let's try to understand the forward proxy first with simple example of client and server. Okay, so depends on where a proxy server is sitting. It decides whether it is a forward proxy or it is a reverse proxy. Okay, let's talk again about the client and the server. Okay, so in forward proxy, the proxy act as a intermediary between client machines and the internet. And we can take an example of the corporate network when we are using the office laptop, you know, using VPN on the office laptop, that is a corporate network. And offices will have enabled the monitoring and controlling the access to internet. So they will continuously check what request we are sending to the internet, or what is the content we are trying to access. It's not illegal, something we are trying to access. So proxy server in this case of forward proxy sits on the client side. Okay, so there can be multiple clients, which means multiple um, office employees trying to access the server. So instead of, let's say this is a corporate network. Yeah, I think this is getting congested. Let's try to write it on the top. Yeah, okay. Let me try it again. We are talking about the forward proxy. Okay. So what is the forward proxy? Let's take again the very simple example of the corporate network. This is the corporate network of some company, Hotstar. So when Hotstar employees are connected using VPN, right? So some employees, every time they try to access the internet, can I denote these using something like this? I don't know, but yeah. So let's consider this is internet and they are trying to access the internet from their office laptop or corporate network. So in this case, what corporate or the Hotstar company will do is that they will have the proxy server set up here on their corporate network. So whenever any user is trying to access the internet, it will always go through the proxy server. Okay. And proxy server will forward their request to the internet, will get the response back from the internet, and then again it will send the response to the right user. What are the advantages of doing this? This way, corporate network will have the monitoring and the controlling the employees' internet access, which means they can continuously observe what content or the request the employees are sending to the internet. If something is illegal or unwanted they're trying to access, they will then proxy will block those requests before even going to the internet. Okay, so that is one thing. It is going to block the unwanted content, which will help to uh, know unnecessarily getting in contact with malwares or ads. So that restriction will have in case of the forward proxy. It will again maintain the privacy for the corporate and the employees. And it can also, let me write down those things. So it is going to have the proper monitoring for whatever the request going to internet, then it is going to have the proper access control. So it can allow or block the request. It will have the proper restriction over geo-restricted content. So if something should not be accessible, then that can be also blocked using the forward proxy. In that geo region, let's say uh, someone is trying to access the content related to some war or Ukraine or some geopolitical, which is not needed, then that can be also blocked using proxy service. This will also help to block the unwanted content such as malwares, then ads, the irritating ads. The very important thing is it will help to hide the IP address of the clients. It will hide the client IP address. If you again watch this part where we explained how the request is flowing in case of forward proxy, the request is getting intercepted by the proxy server. So whenever request is going out, internet will only know from um, which client the request came. So in this case, the request is getting forwarded to the internet from the proxy server. So internet on the internet server, it will not know what is the actual client IP. So it will only know the proxy IP address. That will help us to protect the user identity by hiding the client's IP addresses. As well as, yes, so those are the very important purpose and the use cases for the forward proxy. I hope that is clear. Then let's try to jump for the reverse proxy now. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the reverse proxies. Earlier we discussed that the proxy server in forward proxy sits or act as an intermediary between the client machine on the and the internet or the web servers, and it sits on the client side. Okay, but in reverse proxy, the proxy server act as an intermediary between the internet and the backend servers. So let's assume that we are going to reverse this thing. So this is my internet. Please bear with me for my drawing. Yeah, okay. And then we have couple of servers, the backend servers. Let's say this is my Hotstar company and I have some Hotstar application servers running in my company. Perfect. So these are my Hotstar servers. So in this case, in case of reverse proxy, the actual proxy server sits on the server side. So whenever there is any user trying to access the Hotstar, the request will first go to the proxy server and then proxy will forward those requests to different backend servers. Okay, so that is the basic definition. What is the advantages of this approach using the reverse proxy? This is mostly will be used for the high traffic websites. One of the clear example is Hotstar, Netflix. Um, Such kind of applications will have the proxy servers to handle the high traffic on their website. Okay. Then it will also help us to handle the SSL TLS encryption and the SSL offloading. So we'll talk about that, but there are very important features reverse proxy provides. The first thing is clear that reverse proxy sits on the server side between the internet and the backend servers. One of the example which we see is Hotstar or the Netflix. Then what is the benefit it is going to give? Some of the benefits or most of the benefits, whatever the forward proxy is giving us, those are the benefits we will also get here on the reverse proxy. So it is going to give us the monitoring and the proper logging. So we will know from where request is coming and what is the request, when the request came, and everything. Okay. Then it will also help us to distribute the traffic across the multiple servers. If you see the diagram, then it is helping us to forward the request or distribute the request properly or traffic to multiple backend servers. So that is one advantage, distribute traffic. Okay. Not only that, it will help us to enable the HTTP, HTTPS for servers. It will help us to cache the content. So for example, when user is requesting some repetitive content and then that kind of content which is frequently used can be cached at the proxy here instead of the request again going back to the uh, different servers and then accessing the same content. What proxy can do is that it can cache the content and send that content back to the actual requester. So it has all those capabilities of caching static content, which will help to improve the performance. It will help to distribute traffic. That is nothing but the load balancing, right? Load balancing, the monitoring, and the logging. Simple examples we saw for the Hotstar is, sorry, for the reverse proxy is Hotstar or the Netflix. And for a proxy, you can consider that as a corporate network VPN where proxy server is sitting on the client side and whenever request is going to the internet, then proxy server is handling all this request or intercepting all this request. Okay, so that is about reverse proxy and the forward proxy. Let's talk about very important thing, which is nothing but a load balancer. Okay, yeah, let's talk about the load balancers as well. You will say that load balancers also provide the similar features. Then why not to use the load balancer instead of configuring this Nginx reverse proxy or forward proxy? Yes. Load balancers, as the name suggests, it helps to distribute the incoming traffic across multiple servers. So load balancers will help to distribute the traffic to multiple servers. And load balancers also provide the high availability since we will use the cloud load balancers. So they provide the high availability, HA, and good performance as well. The one thing is here, in case of load balancer, you are using the cloud services, which are paid services, and entire thing about the high availability or actual load balancers deployment and everything is taken care. The backend infra is taken care by the cloud. You just need to tell the cloud what kind of load balancer you need, what is the backend server where you want to forward the traffic, how to configure the certificates, how to control the traffic and everything. So there can be different level of load balancers that we'll talk again in detail in AWS specific challenges. But Layer 4 and the layer 7 load balances. Layer 4 load balances helps to balance traffic based on the IP addresses and the ports, and which is nothing but the works at the transport layer. And layer 7 load balances work at the application layer. So it balances the traffic based on the HTTPS contents, URLs, and the cookies and everything. So that is the basic about the load balances, load balances. You might have heard the um, classical load balancer, then application load balancer, the network load balancers, and a lot of different things. Okay. Guys, that is what we wanted to cover the load balancers and reverse proxy and forward proxy. So load balancers will sit on your public or the private subnet on the cloud side, and the proxy, Nginx proxy, most of the times you will need to configure on your own using EC2 instances, or you can install that for your Kubernetes clusters. That we'll talk about later. But Nginx reverse proxy can be used as a reverse proxy, forward proxy, and the load balancers. Nginx is very important tool which provides the high performance reverse proxy and load balancing functionalities. So it is the combination of both. It also provides the caching. It also provides the HTTPS encryption and security, like rate limiting, the IP restrictions, and many more things. Then, if we talk about the um, when to use the load balancers and the reverse proxy, Nginx reverse proxy, so we can say it like that. Nginx provides the path-based routing to multiple different servers. So we will use the cloud load balancer since we don't want to expose directly Nginx proxy and create load there. So what we can do, we will install the load balancer, use the load balancer, which will forward the traffic to the proxy, and proxy will forward the traffic to different backend servers. So this way, we will have the additional layer of security. First layer are the load balancer, which is going to cost us some amount, but that is fine. And load balancer will forward the traffic to proxy, and proxy will forward the traffic to backend servers. This way, we are securing our actual backend servers at multiple levels. Okay, so how this who is providing all these solutions? So this all these solutions are provided by the Nginx. Just to summarize everything again, Nginx is high performance reverse proxy, and uh, it can be used as a load balancer. It is doing the load balancing, distributing the traffic to different backend servers. Okay. It, it also have the caching functionality, so you need to enable that. It also uh, have the scalability factors, the security implementation, so you can restrict who should access the backend servers. All those configurations we are going to check. Okay, perfect. So that is the theory I want to cover. Let's talk about what is the Grafana and Jenkins a little, just in case if you don't know about that. Sorry, let me check here and we'll try to cover the Grafana. Just few basic terms. Okay. Since we are going to install Grafana, just basic theory. So Grafana is open source platform for monitoring and the observability. What's happening? Okay. So Grafana is open source tool. It is open source project, and it is the platform for monitoring and observability. We have many upcoming videos or the challenges for Grafana, so we will definitely check those in detail later. Very Grafana specific assignments. Okay, then it provides you um, the dashboards, so you can use the dashboards for the visualization. Okay, you can create your own dashboard, or you can use the publicly available dashboards. You just need to put the dashboard ID, and then you can use the existing dashboards as well. It also provides the alerting and logging functionality. So there are multiple tools comes with Grafana like Loki and Alert Manager, Grafana Alert Manager. So you can also use those. So Grafana is for the better visualization, is monitoring and the observability tool, and it also you can also set up the real-time alerts based on specific metrics. And the main thing is it is open source. I guess that is all we just need to know at this point of time. You can use different data sources like Prometheus, Jenkins, and FlexDB, EC2, the Telegraph, and even the URS to take the data from there and create a beautiful dashboard. So you can, uh, you know, create a graphical representation for your data like this. Okay, perfect. Um, then I also want to cover just basic thing for Jenkins, and then we will start actual implementation. Okay, so Jenkins is again open source. Jenkins is open source, and it is a CI/CD tool. So you can use it for the continuous integration and continuous deployment. It automates the building, testing, and deploying the software. So it's very important one of the tool for DevOps and SRE engineers. You can use the pipelines, you can use the scripts to define what kind of actions you need for building your software, to testing your software, and to deploy your software in different environments. It also provides different plugins like Grafana. It also have the good plugin support which you can use. I guess that is what we need to understand from here, right? If this is clear, what is client, what is server, and then what is forward proxy, what is reverse proxy, what are load balancers, when to use which, which Prometheus, Grafana will directly go to our AWS, and we'll try to perform this exercise. We also have the solution uploaded here on GitHub, so you can follow these and try to use it.